So after I finished yesterday's video, my computer kept suggesting for me to save the video project file in a folder called Freedom. I was like, that's weird, right? But then after a while, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So anyway, in the perfection stage, Adam had to attend God by keeping the commandment. And there is a spiritual aspect. We like to say that the reason for the commandment wasn't so that God could punish Adam by running him over in the street. It wasn't just a matter of whether he could master his ability to unite. It was so that he would unite specifically in the matter of taking care of the cosmos. We know this now because Father said that what did God expect from Adam and Eve? He expected absolute sex from them. And Father has also said that it is our duty to the cosmos, to heaven, to practice abstinence before marriage and fidelity in marriage. So the act of taking care of the sexual organs is a part, or a critical part, or even the central part. That's why there's one commandment of taking care of the cosmos. We cast down the idea that that safety was the number one issue. The problem with safety arose because a psychopathic angel had gained bodily form due to sex. Satan could invade people's, in the spirit of Cain. And so Cain killing Abel was a secondary issue. So Cain killing Abel is the same as saying, government usurping the people, or this kind of thing that, Freedom Society types like to talk about. The fall was not the advent of intrusive government. Intrusive government was a facet of the fall. Okay, it is one of the signs that things had gone wrong after the fall. So the fall is not the reversal of dominion in government. Now you could say the fall spiritually, in the conversation, here you have a government official, or the angel. Yeah, they're cutting down trees over there. You had the government official. The government official basically overstepping his boundaries, but you still had the power firmly in the hands of the children of God, or the would-be the people who are the seed people, the seed couple of the entire kingdom and citizenry, right? So they allowed him to overthrow their minds, and that's because of their ignorance. And this is the first time this had been this path had been traversed, and they made a mistake. And then they solidified that mistake sexually. And so then you have the problem with government. But it's more important to solidify absolute sex in order to right that wrong. And then when we talk about sovereignty, the sovereignty that was lost first to the servant was the sovereignty of the mind. If Eve and Adam would have said with certainty, no, you're wrong, or no, I'm pretty sure God knows better than y'all, go talk to him, right? If they had said that with certainty, and this certainty comes after dealing with the you are the Lord encouragement that comes from God and or good spirit world in heaven, right? So without this encouragement, perhaps Adam and Eve would always chew on Satan's claim as if it may be truth, right? But with certainty, you can say, no, I'll table that for now, Lucifer. I'm going to go talk to God about this. No. Don't rush me. No. I'm pretty sure that I need to go talk to God on this. Or they could have said, nope. When God says, don't eat the fruit, it's don't eat the fruit. It makes me wonder if Freedom Society people have a problem with the original commandment, which is why there's a, unfair, untrue amount of focus placed on the results of the fall rather than the fall itself. Father's been very clear about what the root of sin is. It's in the Divine Principle book. It's the root of It's not funny. How could you ignore the fact that the Divine Principle book already told us what the root of sin is? Okay, here you have a regime in northern Pennsylvania that whose hidden king would like to replace the idea that the fall was something to do with mismanagement of government. So that's a lie. It's a distraction from focusing on the real steering wheel, the real matter that that determines whether we develop into a hellish society or a heavenly society. It is not the way we manage government. Management of government to the point where it becomes a distraction from the true message, the true steering wheel, which is the sexual organs. That is a form of deception. To allow people to be distracted by a secondary, at best, message is a form of deception, okay? The other thing that's supposed to happen in the completion stage is to judge angels. Now, you could say, how can you judge angels? Angels are good. Well, angels have a natural weakness, okay? They tend to believe that their job is the only game in town. This is what happened with Lucifer. And they get it naturally. They get it honestly. They literally are not of God. They're not God's children. So they don't understand this plan of future generations and the heart of God being inherited generation after generation because of this, the solid tradition being set up. They're like, they may get the machinery possibly, but they don't get the heart of it. And so the heart of that is for all things to be showered in love by a mature citizenry and population of God's children that enter a poetic state. Father said, if you can't write a poem about a blade of grass, you can't go to heaven. So this has to do with the opening of the heart of love and deep, beyond time and space appreciation for every created thing that the human being is designed to be able to do. And this is in chapter 1, section 4, original value. That section that many times we just skip over it because it's too, I don't know, to some people it sounds too much, it's too hippie-ish or something. But Father said, if you cannot write a poem about a blade of grass, you can't you can't go to heaven. You can't. So you have to have some kind of beyond time and space appreciation. When you think about poetry, why we still would even talk about Shakespeare, it's because the guy, he forfeited literal grasp of reality to try to capture a timeless reality. And in his imagery, he used things that would endure beyond his life, right? Like sunsets and dusk and this sort of thing to describe the matter of him facing his own death. You know, he didn't talk straight about death. The fact that the looming reality of death made him ponder how sweet life is. He wanted all humanity to ponder that. So he used imagery that was more durable than his own life. You know, so there's a reason to get out of being literal sometimes, and you could say this is poetic. Some people who don't get poetry yet would just dismiss this as saying it's like being hippie-ish. But what I'm saying is that, you know, human beings were supposed to like hug creation and the love that they felt from God through the blessing, through having a righteous birth, a registered birth, and a righteous marriage, a registered marriage. The love that they felt through these things is their emotional bank account is full, and then they could love all things, which does include the angel. So until human beings were, what the angels did was smash the love machine, okay? The love machine was something God was working on with Adam. Adam himself, human being, the true human himself, the perfected human himself, is like a love, it's like a sun. It's like a power source, just like a star. It puts out light, and it puts out light on everything else in the cosmos, including the angels. But in their rage, thinking that God was up to no good, they smashed, in spite, they smashed the love machine or the love generator, okay? And that's the ignorance of angels. So when I talk about judging angels, it's probably natural to have to judge them because they are short-sighted in this way. And because they're short-sighted in this way, they fall back on values that they understand. So judging the angels is a matter of figuring out that they are, you know, blinded by secondary or tertiary values in the grand scheme. Now, they're not secondary values, like keeping his position or keeping his job, getting a promotion, getting praise for doing his job is primary to the angel, but it's secondary in the grand scheme, secondary at best. So when you judge the angel, you have to put him in his place before he hurts things that have true primary value. Okay? And so it is our position to keep him from, through his misunderstanding, through his, incidents of envy or lack of love, from doing harm. And it's natural to have to do that. So we're entering, when we say we entered the completed testament age, we should have been able to judge meritocratic spirits. We should have been able to judge people who suffer from excessive careerism. But we didn't. We kept, quote unquote, following Abel. Even though Father was decentralizing, even though he said, follow your conscience more than leaders, even more than me, more than parents, even more than God, we still kept getting, I heard Dunkley's telling everybody again that the principle of Cain Abel and how, no, it's not the primary principle. The primary principle now that the truth is here is what? It's not Cain Abel. It's conscience. Now, if you read the divine principle about conscience, it says that conscience is a... Marley, cut it out. This is Marley right here. Where's that dog? All right. So, you'll go inside in a second. So, hey, you guys, come and get the dog. There you go. All right. So, anyway, judging the angels is a very natural thing. And you have people talking about keeping your position in some external organization hierarchy. But what's primary is our direct relationship with God, and that is done through conscience. And the principle says that conscience is a changing thing throughout history because the grasp of ultimate truth is changing until the point that the original standard of truth is delivered. The conscience will not reach the original mind standard. But now, because Father gave all truth, the conscience now has the potential to be in lockstep with the original mind. The original mind is trusted by God to do his job, which is why Father could say, conscience above God. The only people working against that is people who would tell you that it's arrogant to ever believe that you understand the truth. How the heck can the true world come about based on people who know the truth, and that true world insists that people be so quote-unquote humble? This is a fake humility. Quote-unquote humble, that they never have confidence. They should never have, they should block themselves from ever feeling confident that they know the truth. No, what happens is you become responsible. You say, this is my best assessment, and I'm going to take steps based on my best. And if the project sinks or sails, passes or fails, it's on me. That's called ownership. And it's okay to make mistakes. In the ideal world, people will make mistakes. It doesn't mean you're in league with Satan. But not taking responsibility for things you set in motion, well, that's a bad thing. That's why God comes in the garden and says, did you eat the fruit? They could have taken responsibility, but they blamed and they tried to skirt responsibility. And that's what showed that they were more fallen than just, having made a mistake. They were in league with something that God couldn't work with. So anyway, we could judge the angels in as early as the 1990s when the completed testament age began. Anyway, just thought I'd like to share those thoughts. Boy, my neighbor is cutting down all his trees. He likes to burn this really good smelling wood all winter long, so I'm not mad. He must have picked out a really good tree.